saying there's a story at the bottom of this bottle and I'm a bed.
Got whiplash from that.
Well, welcome back to Hometown Highlights.
Ooh, like that.
Peek that mic just
Whoa, okay. Too much.
just kind of blew my ears out right there.
Stop that.
Well, for today, it's not really a Hometown Highlights as is more of a MLS end season in review.
MLS in review makes a return?
Never.
No, never.
God,
no, please.
Taylor said solid choice this week. Y'all don't know enough of the words though.
You ain't wrong.
Told you it was her favorite song.
All I need to know is my bangs need to be down to my freaking ear. Like, and then I can sing the song. Alright, continue.
You gotta shave your beard too.
Yeah, gotta be baby face.
Yeah. Get a little guy liner going
little
on.
acne going on.
Well, so
MLS in
since
review. Here we go.
it's postseason. No, it's not MLS in review.
It's not even postseason anymore.
It's
Technically,
not,
it's
yeah.
off season.
It's off season.
It's off season.
The season has ended. We're tired. What
It's
do
off
we
season.
have to say about Atlanta season this
Thus
season?
far.
Well,
I mean, I just want to touch on the fact that we brought home 2 trophies this season.
that's a big plus. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, last year was the greatest year of all time." Well, we only won 1. That's all I'm
Ooh,
saying.
big
That's all
facts.
I'm saying. We won 2 this year. That's all I'm saying. Derek, what do you have for us in the slate here? What are we gonna go over?
So I just wanted to go over briefly over the entirety of the season so far, into the off season, what might happen with like the transfer windows, what we might see in a change up in the Atlanta United Five Stripes lineup,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
what you guys are expecting to see in the 2025 Stripe season. You know, what you guys think, or if you want to see any changes, if at all, like
Okay.
any, you know.
All right.
So
Kick us off.
to start it off, I'm just gonna go over very briefly over like some statistics between the first 10 games Atlanta United had this season versus the last 10.
Which is a major difference in performance.
And I will say these last 10 games I did include the postseason with the conferences and all that. But who cares? They're still Atlanta. So to start it off, in the first 10 games, Atlanta United won 5, drew 2, and lost 3. They had a
It's better than I thought.
average game possession of 62% and an average game shot accuracy of 27%.
That's pretty low.
That's the start of the season. The end of the season, it's kind of similar with the win-loss ratio. They had 5 wins again. They had 4 losses and only 1 draw. They had a possession of 54%. It's down 8% from the start of the season. And they had a shot accuracy of 43%.
That was the big change.
which is almost double.
we were pressuring.
Well, I mean, even with the increase in shot accuracy, it still didn't show like in the wins, obviously.
Yeah, but we can all agree that the style of play in the last 10 games versus the first 10 games was a drastically
Completely
different
different,
team.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I was surprised at the fact that we got the same amount of wins, to be honest. 'Cause I felt like we did it way worse at the beginning of the season than that. But
Truly, it just goes to show more or less like the middle of the season where we were kind of
middle.
lacking.
I mean, you gotta remember, like, the first 10 games is when we had that clean streak of, like, clean sheets of away games. I think we had, like, 5 in a row.
that's true. My big thing with the season progression was seeing the system kind of level out, the new manager, all that stuff, new players, this and that, all that stuff. It just had to have time to level out, and it did, really. It really did in a significant way. Overall, the season was a success, in my opinion. A lot of people don't see it that way, but I see it as a success.
Yeah, the only thing I really want to, like, kind of talk about is, like, the difference in the beginning. I think is what kind of really, not really, like, screwed us over per se, but it gave us, like, a bad start. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it gave us something we had to catch up for instead of being
Yeah,
comfortable.
so-
it's a bit harder to catch up than to stay up.
So
Right.
my thing is, like, going back to the start of the season, we had players like Brett Shea, who were, like, almost starting every single game.
Yep.
Yeah,
And couldn't perform.
could not.
Then we get to the
Same
mid-season where, like, Brett Shea's out on an injury. A lot of other people are out on injury. And other people are off playing for their national teams.
Yeah.
So we're, like, missing our entire
missing
formation. So we
Joseph,
had, like, that
missing
entire
Barco,
start.
yeah.
The team wasn't really kind of performing well.
And the fact
then we
that
changed
our
the
schedule
roster
was
mix.
so wild that, like, we were playing games every 3 days just about, it seemed
Yep.
like.
Well, that's what happens. I mean, when you're in Campiona's Cup,
Yeah,
you're
that's
playing
what
all
I'm
those
saying, cup
games.
matches and
And,
stuff like that. But what I will want to give some really big highlights to is Frank de Boer's signings. this year.
Yeah.
They were really good. Let's be real. Okay, so we brought in Florentine Pogba, brought in Emerson Hyndman, who didn't play a ton, but when he did, he was effective.
He was very good. Yep.
Dion
Came in.
Pereira, I want to see more of him. I think he has it. He's very young though, but he has a lot of ability. I can see it in him.
Yeah.
I can see it in him. Who else? Breckshay was a good addition if he performed well. I can see why he signed him. Miram was a great addition. I loved him.
Mid-season.
Mid-season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's clutch.
Yeah. Obviously, Pitti was a signing, but he was already signed.
He was already agreed upon and all that.
But,
That was more of a front office move.
But like
than
the mid-season transfer window went really well for us.
Yeah, it was
And
nice.
it was very, very effective, and I gotta give props to him for that because it set us up big time for the rest of the season. 'Cause that's where we started seeing turning points.
Yep.
Once the new guys got a little comfortable, we started seeing those turning points.
And that's kind of what I want to go into next with this next talking point of like what you guys are expecting in this off season.
This off
With
season,
like the transfer windows, with like Parkhurst.
my
same as his
biggest
final season.
concern with this off season, let me be real with you, is not that we're losing Parkhurst. Darlington Nagby has gone to Columbus, which is a huge loss, but he is a bit older, so I could see us replacing him with somebody.
Still a loss.
It's still a loss. No doubt. Darlington Nagby is a different kind of. Other big concern is a European team signing Gressel on a free because he's at the end of his contract. You know what I mean? They can easily sign him on a free. And if you don't know what a free is, if a player's in the last 6 months of his contract, team cannot pay the club anything, no transfer fee or anything like that. They just contract negotiations with the player. When the transfer window opens, he goes for that salary. With a signing bonus or whatever, which is concerning because if he is going to go, we would like to get something so that we can replace him. My other big concern for the offseason is there are 2 new clubs coming to the MLS, and that means expansion draft.
Yep.
Do you know how the expansion draft works, Derek?
Enlighten me.
You basically get a certain amount of players you can protect. So remember when Cincinnati came in?
Okay.
They picked up Greg Garza, snatched it, and nothing we can do about it. He goes over to Cincinnati now because we had to protect certain players and we couldn't protect all of them. And so it's very possible that push comes to shove. We end up not protecting some. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah,
It's like somebody could easily snag Eric Rometty. You know what I mean? It's like
Rometty,
that's a
Rometty.
problem, right? Someone could easily snag because like who are you gonna protect? And that's what I'm interested to see. And I'm sure that's a very tough situation for a manager to be in. Expansion draft, scary thing. Just gotta wait and see what happens with it. Really. But anyway, what are you guys expecting for the next season? What do you guys want to see? What do you guys?
I want to see a revamped defense, in just a solid formation. So whether we stick with the 3 in the back, we need another central defender to go with LGP and Robinson.
Yeah.
So
maybe we see some players like Franco Escobar switch to a defensive mid kind of position because he is quick and he can do those plays. You know what I mean? There needs to be some tweaking done.
I'm just excited to see the new signings. I want to see because obviously we're going to have to make some sort of signings to replace the likes of Parkhurst. But obviously, I think my expectations for next year, we should at least be back in the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to compete for.
I think the U.S. Open
Cup's
Cup's definitely on the table
that
again.
should be.
I mean, we pretty easily got through.
Yeah, well, Minnesota United there at the end, that was kind of a battle.
But I'm just saying to get to the final.
To get there,
at
yeah.
least
So
is
you would
kind of the
expect to
goal.
win the Open Cup.
We won't compete in the Champions Cup.
I want to be in the final of because I want to go to the final. I want to be in the final of the MLS Cup.
Yeah,
That'd be a success.
My big thing that I want to see from next season, this is kind of debatable, is we do have the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
That we are competing in, and we did a horrendous job last year.
I just want to be more competitive.
I want to be I want to do we get out the groups?
Yeah, I think we do.
We got knocked out the first round or whatever. We should be more competitive than that in there. And we saw it when we played Club America in the Champions Cup. I expect us to be at a different level next year. That's the thing. It's going to be a different level. People are going to be used to the system. I expect a significant amount more. I'm not saying we definitely should be winning it, but we should be very competitive in it. It should be a very... If we're not winning the games, they better be close kind of thing. We should not get smacked around by these teams, okay?
Agreed.
So that's kind of my big thing is I want to see a better CONCACAF Champions League out of us, which would be super fun to watch, and it would be super good to have U.S. teams internationally doing better.
Right.
So that's my big thing for that, along with the things that Matt said.
Cool, yeah. So, like, the big thing I want to see is, like, the evolution of Frank DeBoer's system.
Yeah.
So, you know how we started with that possession base. We saw in the game where it was, like, 62% possession per game on average.
But
Some
we weren't-
games it was, like, 82% was the possession rate.
Yeah.
82%.
But we weren't doing anything with it. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's what I'm saying. But then, like, the end of it,
Because your
it
shot
was-
accuracy is 20.
20,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
whatever.
So, like, how it's evolved over this season, I want to see what it goes to next season.
Yeah, and
How
and-
it gets better, how it gets stronger, how our attacking uses that possession like
Yeah.
more strategically instead of just holding the ball, but using more strategically. And then, like what Matt said was, our defense needs to step up its game. I don't know what. One more thing is like I kind of also want to see like a little bit of like a formation change because we were seeing some great success with like that 4 in the back system.
4-3-3.
Where
we're
it's
kinda
like you
playing,
can
or-
play more aggressively in the front because you have that defense set up.
Right.
So if we're playing more precisely with our attacks,
And I think Frank DeBoer will look at that. And I think you'd be
So-
dumb not to look at that.
Yeah,
You
and
know
I
what
think
mean?
it gives that option if they keep Escobar at the right back. It gives him more of that opportunity to
Yeah.
do what he normally does, come
Exactly.
on that right side.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so that's kind of what I'm hoping to see. Is
a good
just like a
point.
new evolution of like what
Yeah.
Frank DeBoer is doing.
I've never
how
been
it's
a-
already evolved.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of 3 in the back, but
No,
it
me
works
either.
for them. So,
Just
But,
they'll find over. It's like this is his first true off season. Let's think about it. Like he
Yeah.
did come in an off season or whatever and work with.
That's
the
true.
But like, you know, this
He
is
is
his
a
first
full-
true.
yep,
He
full-
knows the team fully. He knows
full-time,
everybody's like he. This will be. I think we're gonna see a lot of big changes.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be very good. And I expect, just like we should always expect as Atlanta fans, that way we keep that pressure on them. We should expect high level play all the time.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? That way that I love that we keep pressure. I'll end with this with my remarks. Like as fans, we gotta keep putting pressure. We don't need to be overly harsh. There's like a degree where you're kind of like being ridiculous. You know what I
Right.
mean? But like,
Like
you
you
know,
were on pity all season.
Hashtag sack DeBoer.
yeah. But I'm saying we need to keep that pressure on because that pressure is what's forcing them to make changes. You know what I mean? And forcing them like.
Yeah.
We won't stand for the mediocrity or anything like that. And I think that's brilliant. And I think we should never stand for it. And I think we will see that come through start of next year.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna be it for us today on
Last episode for the next
Of,
like 2 months.
the end of MLS season in review for hometown highlights.
Highlights.
You know, if you guys aren't already following us on Instagram, make sure you follow us at _CF Sports. And if you aren't subscribed to us on YouTube, what are you doing with your life?
What are you doing?
Yeah, why are you-
half
We're
of
doing
our
this with
viewers,
our life.
half of our views don't come from subscribers.
How are you gonna watch the video?
I look at the
and not
analytics.
hit that subscribe video?
Come on.
If
You've
you
been
made
here
it
for
this far.
We
you've
post
been here for
videos
15
every
minutes.
week, okay? Post videos every week. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave comments. What do you want to see from this next season? What do you expect to see from this transfer window? Let us know what you're
Hey,
thinking.
just
We would
even
love
say
to.
hi, mom, to
even
Matt's
say,
mom.
Yeah, say hi, Matt's mom in the comments.
So she can reply
Drop
back.
it down. Yeah.
But
be tight.
no, that's gonna be it from us. You guys stay beautiful. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Matt's mom.
Bye, mom.
Peace.